Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Integration Ninjas. In this tutorial, we will dive into GitHub Codespaces, an innovative platform for cloud-based coding environments, and learn how to set up a Node.js project with MongoDB and Express. Okay, let's see what is GitHub Codespaces. It is a feature from GitHub that allows you to create and develop code in a cloud-based development environments. It means you can access your code from anywhere and on any device. It is pre-configured with all the tools you need to start coding, including code editor, terminal, and debugger. So it will have the default editor as Visual Studio Code. Whenever you will open the code space, a Visual Studio Code will be opened in a browser. Code spaces are hosted on GitHub servers, so you don't need to worry about setting up or managing your own development environment. Whenever you create a code space, it will be created on a GitHub virtual machine as a Docker container. Alright, now let's talk about some of the key benefits of GitHub Codespaces. First thing, we can access the code from anywhere. We can access it from any browser, whether we are working in our system or friend's system or on a tablet as well. We can simply open the code space and we can start from wherever we left off from a different device. Okay. Now using a pre-configured development environment, right? So you can work in development environment that has been specifically configured for a specific repository. Suppose I'm working on a Java code, so I will set up all the tools that will be needed to run a Java application or Spring Boot application. Like that, everyone will be working on that workspace. That code space will have the same environment. There will be no changes. Access the resources you need. Sometimes we observe or the local system is not having the capability of running the process properly. Sometimes we run the Docker in our system, processing will be little slow, but with the help of GitHub Codespaces, we don't need to worry about that. It will provide the adequate resources for that. And we can simply live share, use the live share features from the GitHub Codespace. We can share the screen with the teammates, and we can publish the web app from a code space. Simply we can forward a port from our code space and then share the URL to allow teammates to try out the changes you have made to the application before you submit those changes to create a pull request. That will be easy. So working on multiple projects, you can use multiple code spaces to work on separate projects or different branches of the same repository on a different browsers as well. Yeah. So let's now see how we can use GitHub Codespaces practically. Okay. So here are we. But let's see about the GitHub Codespaces pricing. This is free, but till a limited period. If we can, it provides 120 hours per month. So if we exceed and the 15 GB per month storage, it will start charging us. So, and the GitHub Pro has this limitation. So you can go through this billing prices, but this is more than sufficient. I personally feel like it is sometimes we can use this, but not every time. Sometimes we need a quick solution and need to test things. Then we can use this, but it depends on your users, how you want to use the GitHub Codespaces. Okay, so if you see, whenever we click on any repository, there is an option here, a local. We can clone the project, and in the code space where we can work in the cloud environment. So we can create code space for this project, but I don't want to do this as of now. I want to create a new repository for this project. Okay, so I will name this as Node.js Codespace. Okay, and it will be public repo. I will add a readme and dot. Okay, let's create this repository. Alright, we have created a new repository. And now we'll move to GitHub Codespaces. So let's see how we can configure this. Configure new, there are multiple options, but I will start with create codespace on main branch. I will use the default will be the there are multiple options. If you see here, we can select this 2 core RAM and 4 GB RAM and 2 core processor. So default will be this one. We can reuse this to 4 core and 16 GB RAM, but for this project this is more than sufficient. So let's see how it is working. You can see the Visual Studio Code is open in a browser. That's a pretty good feature. Okay, so first of all, I would like to change the theme. Okay, I will use the dark theme here, and you can see the same terminal is open here, and we have this workspace. This is source control. We can commit all changes here. Now I want to create a dev container. GitHub Codespaces, like when you work in a Codespace, the environment you are working in is created using a development container or dev container hosted on a virtual machine. So what I will do is I will add a dev container for this project. Add dev configuration files. I will modify it. I would like to have, okay, let's see what we have existing things. Existing one is the default one, which is provided by GitHub, which is having all the necessary tools that is needed. So if you say this image, this is a Docker image where we have all the required tools like Docker, Node.js, and Maven, Java, everything is there, but I don't want to, I will use a custom one. So I will modify this. Okay, so I will use Node and MongoDB. MongoDB. Okay, this is pretty. We select this and I will delete this. And will create a new configuration where I will use Node and MongoDB. For this, I will be using Node version, let's use 18.1, and additional features, I don't want anything. So we can see a dev configuration file will be added. So this is a dev container.json. Generally, we don't touch this. This will have the details of whatever the changes we are going to do. So this is running as a Docker container image. So these are the configuration for this. If you see the Docker file, it is running all the required commands to create this container and the required tools available in this. Okay, now let's work on our project. We'll create a Node.js project and simply we will do npm init. Okay, first thing is we have changed the dev configure.json. We need to rebuild this container. So let's rebuild this. Otherwise the commands will not be accessible. Okay. You can see this is started to rebuilding. It takes a while, probably 1 to 2 minutes it will take. So let's wait for this and we'll start after that. Simply we'll create a Node.js application and we'll simply connect to MongoDB. We'll not write any endpoint with the CRUD applications. We'll just setting up a connection, or we'll create one more API that we can see how we can access this in browser as well here. So that's what we are going to do as part of this video. Let's finish the show. And don't take much time. We can see the logs as well here. It is trying to setting up the container for us. You can see this is in process. Yeah, this is completed now. Okay, now we'll see if we can access the Node and MongoDB. We can simply check in the terminal as well by writing the commands. Let's see if we have Node here. Yes, we have, and Mongo is also there, you can see. So let's connect this, and we'll simply connect this. You can see this is connected to the localhost and port 27017. Okay, now let's do one thing. Let's create a npm project here in this repository. We can do simply npm init -y. Okay, so we can see the package.json has been created, and now we will install Mongo and Express. So let's finish this installation process. Okay, so the packages are there, the Express.js is there, and Mongoose is also there. So let's create one more. Now we will create a new file, not inside dev container. I will create in the root index.js. Okay, so here I will be importing the Mongoose and the Express packages. So we'll simply write const express is equal to require express. Okay, similar we will do for node the Mongo as well, Mongoose, and we'll add the package Mongoose. You can see if it is there. Yeah, Mongoose is there. Now we will create the instance of the Express application. Simply const app is equal to express, and we'll create the port for our application. Let's see, it is 3000, and now we will try to connect to the database simply with mongoose.connect, and let's see how we can connect. We will write the hostname here, that will be MongoDB :/localhost that the port number 27, it was 27017, and the DB name. So let's name is as NEDB test DB, and we will write some the connection options. So we'll writing the default connections which will be using most of the times. Okay, so let's write this use new URL parser as true. I will use one more, which is use unified topology true. Unified topology true. So Mongoose use this new server discovery and monitoring engine, and now if this is success, then we are going to print out that connection is successful. All right. Connected to MongoDB. Otherwise, if there is any error, we will catch that error. We are going to catch this error. So the log it like this. We will just catch the error object and we'll log it here, console.error, and we'll mention that error connecting to MongoDB, and we can log the error as well. Okay, so this is how we will create a connection. Now let's see how we can start the application. Well, application server, we are going to start the application server with app.listen, and we'll define the port number and we'll say a message that application is running on this port. Server is running on port all right. Now let's see if it is working or not. Okay, we need to do one thing that it's not required. So we'll just simply run node index.js. Server is running on port. Okay, so yeah, this is not accessible. So we can simply do one thing. Can close this. This is not required. We can run this command again and see. Node index.js. So server is running on the port 3000 and connected to MongoDB, means our connection is successful with MongoDB. Okay, so this is like simple steps how you can configure the node project with MongoDB. So I'm not going to write any like CRUD applications here. One more thing we can do, we can write a simple get endpoint and we can try to access in the other browser and see if it is working or not, because this is useful in all multiple cases, because when we work in the local, that time we test many things on the browser by running the port locally. So we'll write a simple hello endpoint. Okay, and request response we can have, and we'll make and we will send the response. What we can send is simply a message that hello integration ninjas. All right, let's see if this is working or not. Think it should work. Yeah. We can cancel this and see if this is working or not. Server is connected on this and we can see if it is available in the browser or not. It is trying to forward here, but it is not accessible. We can do one thing. In the Docker file, not the Docker file. In the div container.json, we have a feature forward ports to list of that inside the container available locally. So we'll use this forward ports, and I don't want this port to be exposed outside. I will just simply use this. And now I think we need to rebuild this project. Okay, so we are going to rebuild this, and then again we will run and see if it is working or not. Yeah, it should not take much time. This is required like when you publish your app from a computer, like we need to forward a port from the code space and then share this URL in the browser. Then it should work. Yeah. Let's do this again. We can simply see node display, node index.js. We can see the server is running on this port and connected to DB. Now we will try to access in browser, and now we will try to access our hello, this one. Okay, so now we can see this is available here. The message we are sending, it is available outside. This is the URL of the port, the GitHub Codespace URL, localhost URL, and we have enabled this endpoint. So this is how you can simply work in a GitHub Codespace in your browser. You don't need to set up the configurations and install any required tools like Node.js or anything in your system. You can simply open the code space and you can start working on it. So suppose you are outside somewhere and you need to work on some critical things, you can access your GitHub repo and start working on it with the code space. Yeah, that's pretty easy, and it's a nice to have feature. So how was this video? Just comment it out, and please share, like and comment as much as possible. Thanks for watching out this video. Have a nice day.